All right, everybody. I starting this channel today. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm doing a channel basically about my life, just like a day-to-day vlog. I'm gonna touch on like all kinds of different things that I'm into and like go it's really gonna be going down the rabbit hole in a lot of goofy ways and a lot of goofy areas. Basically just like a day-to-day diaries. First thing I did today, and one of the inspirations for starting this channel was I need to lose weight again. I was in really, really good shape in July. The last 4 months, I had an injury in July. I hurt my bicep, and then I was, overworking out like really hard. And I took a step back, but I ended up taking a step way back. And when you loosen up on the exercise, you start to loosen up on the nutrition. And so I just noticed that I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm really starting to get a little, a little chunky, a little out of control. I went from being in like the mid 160s to like this morning I was 180.2. And then I had gotten my body fat percentage down to like 15%, but now it's at 22.3. I just want to get things right. I want to get things going in the right direction. What did I do? So how do I figure that out? Well, I weigh myself on a scale. But when it comes to my body fat percentage, I have one of those Taylor's tapes and I use the US Navy method. So I'll go around my waist, I'll go around my neck. It's a website called calculator.net. So my body fat percentage came out to 22.3%, which is in the normal range. But for the standard that I'm trying to live by, which I'm trying to get back to almost athlete level body fat percentage, I just need to step up my game. So there's a lot of studies out there like I do, and my background is in social services and psychology. So I do like a lot of different presentations. And recently, this last summer, I did a presentation called the Vitality Formula, where it was based off of Peter Attia's book Outlive. Oh, basically in that presentation, I talked about how even though 20 to 25% body fat percentage for males is, and women have different variances, they can carry more body fat percentage, but with males, normal is 20 to 25%. Even though you're considered normal, you're still in threat of like heart disease. And so I've always kind of had this goal, hey, stay under 20, 17, 15, stay in that range as best you can. And like I said, like with the winter kicking in, with, I'm a big believer, at least I can speak for myself, when I overeat, it's because I'm not feeling super great, a little bit down. And I saw my body fat percentage tick, 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 tick up, and it's at 22 today. So I was like, hey, here, how's a way that I can create some personal accountability, socialize, connect to people on a deeper level, and just talk about life and have a back and forth. So I said, hey, I'll start a YouTube channel and share photos from throughout my day of all the goofy stuff I'm up to. There's three metrics that I've really like when I'm on a good diet, when I'm really like doing really well. I measure my calories, the ounces of water I drink every day, and the grams of protein. So as you can see in this photo, like on the tops of my of glass bottles or water bottles, I always carve in like how many ounces it is to fill it up. So that way I know how many ounces I'm drinking. And that's like literally I get into the minutia of things when I'm actually on top of it. So today was a really easy day. Right now, I'm working about 6 days a week. I'm helping really, really good friends and family manage their entire shopping center. And then I'm also helping with one of their children that has disabilities. This family is they're elderly. They're in their like 90s, and the son is in their 60s. So it's a all-encompassing work. I love it. I love them very much. But it's 6 days a week right now. The reason I bring that up is because today I had because it's Thanksgiving, I basically had a day off, which was nice. Just kind of a day more to myself. But part of my schedule, like to prepare for tomorrow and to kind of get back into the groove of things, because I'm going to be going to the gym. And the more you get to know me, like I'm very, very frugal. I'm very, very like, I like to do things probably out of the ordinary. There's a lot of areas I can grow for sure in this regard. Like, so I like to ride my bike to the gym, but the gym is 4 miles away. And so it's an 8 mile round trip to go lift weights. And if you want to get into shape, that's a really good way to get yourself into shape pretty quick, right? And at my age, I'm 41 now. Like anything like that that you can do, like, and you can handle it, like it's tremendous benefits to you to change your body really fast. And that's what I need. So I set my alarm. Tomorrow I'm gonna wake up at 6, and then I gotta leave the gym around 9:40-ish to go be with my pal Rex. and we work together. So we're at the shop till about 1 o'clock, and then we do some stuff afterwards. And we manage the shopping center, and there's a grocery store there and everything. And then I put a stop eating alarm because I don't know if you guys deal with this, but I'm like someone that when I eat, like I can just go, man. Not eat too close to bedtime because the closer you eat to bedtime, it can cause, problems when you sleep. And I'm someone who's dealt with sleep apnea throughout, my life. I actually healed it on my own through lifestyle changes. I was able to heal my sleep apnea, which was like a real curse on my life. And even what's funny about sleep apnea was I used to weigh right now I weigh 180. I used to weigh 156 pounds and I had really bad sleep apnea still. Um, ev and when I healed it, I weighed 166. I weighed 10 pounds more. So it's not necessarily a weight thing. It's what kind of macronutrients you're eating, what kind of habits you're doing, when are you eating, what times of day are you fasting, when do you stop, eating, and how much time in between eating and bedtime do you give yourself? Here's my first meal. I just put everything out there. We had Thanksgiving leftovers because we had my pal Sherman, Dustin, and Rex over for dinner last night. It was really nice because Sherman, Rex's parents are like in their 90s and they just don't have the energy to cook. And basically Sherman and Rex are single bachelors that are older guys. And so, we were able to, make a nice meal for them. Shout out to my parents who, as you'll get to know me, I am around my parents because I think it's the right thing to do in life when, I have more than enough money to be on my own and do my own thing. But I just like to be around people that I trust and I'm familiar with, and I love my parents. Last night we had the dinner. And today I was like, man, it's going to be hard to stay under calories. It's going to be hard to hit my macronutrients. And I didn't. I didn't hit them. I went a little bit over calories today and I didn't hit my protein goal. But, as the holidays move on, you'll see that I'll be getting there. But I have a feeling that tomorrow I'm going to lose some weight because one, I stopped eating early. Two, the mechanisms in there in the guts, the bowels, they're working. So I know that tomorrow we're going to have a nice little Exodus, weigh everything when I'm being super crazy about counting calories. And what's funny is I use AI to calculate these things. So I'll put in there, look at that, all these ounces, pineapple, ham, stuffing, etc. And then it'll hit me with oh, look, you had ate this many calories and this many protein. But buyer beware, AI isn't always right about calculating your stuff. So, you got to take it with a grain of salt, which I'm just going with it. Call me someone who has severe OCD or whatever. I don't care. I just, hey, AI told me that's how many calories my plate was. I'm rolling with it, man. If I got to work harder at the gym tomorrow to make up for it, I will. Okay, so yesterday I had my friends over and I called my pals to see if they wanted to come over again and to have leftovers. Dustin was like, "Yeah, I'll come by." And he's got his mother. His mother's, sick and elderly. So that's a theme nowadays. If you notice a lot of guys either with their parents or taking care of their parents and stuff like that, with all the health issues. Made a plate for him, made a plate for his mother. I told him, I say, hey, I got a bunch of stuff I got to do before bed to get ready for tomorrow and to work and everything. Uh, so like, you want another plate? And he was already falling asleep. And I was like, all right, bro, I gotta kick you out of here because I'm not here to watch you sleep. So he had his food, he had his drink, and I say, you want some more food? And he goes, nah, I'm good. So he zombied his way back home. When my buddy came up for dinner, my stomach wasn't feeling good because having, the whole reason I'm doing this channel is because I need to turn everything around, not just my diet. Everything about my life needs to get better. And I love respectful, constructive critique. So putting this out in the open, like I have no problem with people sharing. And in fact, if anyone brings anything up that's noteworthy or questions or whatever, I'll answer them on this channel and shout you out. Negativity and stuff, like I'm gonna ignore you or block you if it's like bad stuff. Like I have nothing wrong with critiques and constructive criticism, but we all have to understand, like, you know, most of us live in a hard enough life with hard enough situations that we don't need to be being emotionally abused or being talked down to by people that have incognito profiles. So, this is all about trying to be positive, trying to be loving, and having the confidence to share of yourself and to be willing to make connections and friendships, which is what I would like to do, genuinely and seriously. When Dustin came back, I decided not to eat another plate. So that plate that I ate earlier that you guys saw was from lunchtime and like 1 o'clock, noon. And so for dinner, I had, I love pumpkin pie, man. So I had a smaller slice. And that one I caught a picture of, put some light whipped cream, not regular, if that even makes a real difference. I'm sure there's anyone who's out there that eats organic and stuff, please let me have it because I know there's all kinds of bad thingamajiggers in there. The more you get to know me, you'll realize like if I was the richest person in the world, I'd probably still live the same way. In fact, if I was really wealthy, I'd make it my life's mission to help people out rather than critique people. Um, and I'm doing all right, but I still just super frugal. Anyone who knows me, it's a very unattractive quality. For some people, they don't like that. But for me, it's just it comes natural, and you should be who you are. Let me talk about how I calculate my food numbers and stuff, because this is just crazy. So 180.2 and 22.3 is the weight and the body fat percentage I had for the day. So what I do when I calculate my calories is I really calculate my calories not based off who I am right now, but who I want to be. So I use a calculator and I'll say, okay, well, I want to be at 13% body fat. That's my goal. So I'm at 22.3, which means I need to lose 9.3%. So I'll go in there and I'll times, I think what I do is I times, if I remember correctly, I times 9.3% by 180.2, subtract it with the number I get by 180.2, and that's how I get the number 163.4, which is my ideal weight at the moment to get to 13%, which means I basically need to lose 16.8 pounds, which is it's work, man. It's a lot of work to get down there. And so that's where I'm at right now. And so when the three metrics that I calculate every day is ounces, protein, and calories. Well, today, because of the holidays, I went over all my calories. I have a minimum and a maximum. I was like almost 90 over on my max because I miscalculated things, and heck, it might be even be a little bit more because of the pie situation. But you can't beat yourself up. And like I said, I based off of my overeating the last few days, I actually think I'll lose a pound or two going in tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I'm gonna do this every night, so I'll be updating you guys. And then my protein numbers are super low. And one thing I've learned about protein, by the way I calculate my calories is I take that 163.4 number of my ideal weight and I times it by 15. So that gives you 2451. And then the reason I have the minimum number, that's 1451, is I think you shouldn't have a calorie deficit of more than 1,000. I think that's getting into like, your body's just going to start burning muscle. It's going to freak out and you're not going to burn fat. It's going to start holding on to fat. So I never have more than 1,000 calorie deficit. And frankly, I'm not in a hurry to lose the weight. So I'll probably be pushing more closer to my maxes anyways most days. Um, I would imagine. So in terms of protein, I take that 163.4 number, I times it for the minimum by zero point 0.8, which is like the minimum amount of protein you should have every day, in my opinion, for a healthy person. And then on the max end, it's 1.3 times that my weight, my ideal weight, 163.4. And so today I was woefully under. And, the body will reflect that because, protein is really important for maintaining and growing muscles. When you're not eating a lot of protein, I just notice my body gets flabby and I have a flabby body. You can see like just in a few days with me getting on point, you'll notice the videos or where all my face particularly will look much different. Ounces of water, I think water is so important. And so, I take my ideal body weight and the minimum amount of ounces is half an ounce per pound of body weight to 1 ounce per pound of body weight. And so I had, more than an adequate enough amount of water. But yeah, that's where it's at. That's what I'm up to. And I apologize if this was a really scatterbrained video. I'm just, I'm kind of dealing with a lot of insecurity. Um, there's a lot that I have to say. There's a deep connections that I want to make with people. And I'm willing to take some knocks on the chin to connect to some really nice people out there. Hey, if you have anything you want to ask questions or anything you want to talk about or anything like on the next videos, I'll reply to the comments in this video. So like if you have comments that are noteworthy, like things that you want to, I'll talk to you I'll probably do that at the end of every video. So that way we can just streamline through the day. Any new viewers can like check that out. And then at the end of the video, I'll put like all the comments and commentary and stuff like that. And so yeah, I just like I said, just try to keep it positive. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch and I really appreciate your feedback. But let's just try to create a positive community here. Thank you so much for everything. Happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.